And starting with our ad, of course, our sponsors, West Ashfield. Our boys return to the Sunshine State to take on the Brisbane Broncos at Suncorp Stadium a week after having victory snatched from the grasp in Townsville in the most controversial and unbelievable circumstances imaginable. We've even got the ad reads even going about the controversy last week. But so head to West Ashfield this Saturday, 30th of July, 7:35 is kickoff. Of course, we're going to preview that game tonight. Round 20 from the home of the West Tigers, West Ashfield, and you can enjoy classic wood-fired pizzas, juicy burgers, enjoy all your game day favourites at the Garden with a refreshing tap beer from just $5.80. That's pretty cheap for a skewy these days. Book your table today. Selected tap beer only. West Ashfield practices the responsible service of alcohol. West Ashfield are at 115 Liverpool Road, Ashfield. For more information, visit West Ashfield's website, westashfield.com.au, or follow them on Facebook or Instagram at West Ashfield. Go give them a follow on the socials, please, guys. And welcome into another episode of the West Life podcast. I'm your host, Josh Barnett. Tonight we're going to preview and review last week's game and preview this week's game because we spent an hour and a half talking about 1 second of the game last week. So we'll talk about the other 79, 59 tonight. But as always, we are sponsored by West Ashfield and, of course, MG Pump Solutions. Also, at Westlife Pod on Instagram and Twitter, please give us a follow. And Facebook too. Please, our Facebook needs some love. So if you're on Facebook, go on to facebook.com and give Westlife a like and a follow. And patreon.com/Westlife if you'd like to support the show. And welcome into everyone watching live on our YouTube and our other socials as well. So give us a like and a subscribe on there too. Boys, I have Rob and Az joining me tonight for this preview show. I'll start with you, Rob. How are you on this Thursday evening? Have you... I don't know about you, but what are we, Thursday? 4 days, 48, 24, 48, 96 hours plus since the game finished. 24, 48, 96 hours. I'm still angry. I still haven't gotten over it. I don't know, if I will get over it. How about you?
Yeah, well, firstly, I'm good. Thanks, Josh, and good evening to all the listeners out there. It's a bit of a weird one. I've calmed down a lot now. I'm still upset about the result, but it's funny, Josh. Every time you see that kickoff on TV, I just click into angry mode. So I'm just in a great mood. I'm feeling fine. Then as soon as I see it, it just makes me angry. It's just like watching the 2010 scrum against the Roosters or something like that. It's got that same effect on me. But and obviously the Manly stuff kind of stole our thunder a bit, which would have been nice if our news was the focus of the rugby league news this week. I think it might have served our case to get the reversal a bit better. But we've had that deflected. We only really got one full day of it, and Tuesday they moved on to other matters. So
I really hope the West Tigers management aren't giving up, and they were trying to get the transcript of what the bunker and the mic and all that sort of jazz and go from there. But as the days go on, it feels like it's the West Tigers. Who cares? Just move on. We'll talk about it a bit more. As we go through the news. As looking like bloody Eminem out of 8 Mile with your hoodie and the episode was robbed on Monday. You look like you're about to rob a bank at the moment.
I've left. Well, I've moved house less than a week ago, so I don't have ducted heating anymore. So it's a little bit brisk in my room in Little Old Orange now. So rugged up a little bit like an Eskimo. no bank robbing for me. The Tigers got robbed, and yeah, I'm not doing any robbing. So
Yep. No, that's just the NRL referees doing the robbing this week. So on the lower grades, so the boys are back after having a bye last week. The Cup side, they are playing 12:40 Saturday at Campbelltown against Mounties, and Jersey Flegg are playing 2 p.m. on Saturday down in Melbourne against the Melbourne Thunderbolts. So the Melbourne Storm's Jersey Flegg team. And of course, we'll say it every week, the New South Women's Premiership is finished, and we were the premiers. So, the girls getting ready for NRLW as we speak, and can't wait for next year when we can say that's a team of our own. Right, on to the news. So, old mate Graham Annesley's. Did you boys tune in live to watch Graham? I've never tuned in to watch a Monday review from Graham Annesley, but I sure as hell did on Monday. Did you boys tune in live? Rob?
For me, I only caught the first 5 minutes of it, and thank God I went in a car park and couldn't pick up AM reception, because I was actually listening to it live on SEN radio. The 1 o'clock show were broadcasting it live, and some of the stuff that was coming out of his mouth just had me on tilt. And then as soon as I heard what all our, friends and followers shared on Twitter and Facebook and what have you, and I got the full gist of it, I was absolutely disgusted by it. Like, I know he's got to say stuff to protect the NRL, but some of the stuff he was saying was borderline ridiculous and treated all NRL fans with contempt, not just West Tigers fans.
Did you tune in to watch it? You might have been working.
I was at work at the time, so
Yeah.
I got the gist of it when I got home later that night. Twitter gave me the full rundown of it, so I didn't bother listening because I knew it would piss me off.
Regular watcher of the show, Rachel on Facebook. One thing that came out of that robbed decision as the fans have united together. We have come as one again. That has been lacking previous weeks. I totally agree with that. I also I said it on Monday's show, fans of other clubs as well. Like, just, as I wear my gear all week, so many people just saying to me, like, how much you guys... I've come across one person on Twitter, and it was a Cowboys fan, who said, "Oh, good calls go either way each week," or garbage. But apart from that, it's just I've never ever come across something in rugby league where every single person, every fan of every club agrees. Maybe Cowboys. I haven't heard much from Cowboys, but I don't know. Maybe living in Sydney, you don't come across them that much anyway. But it's just crazy. But the people that do disagree with it is old mate on the screen here, and the rest of the NRL head honchos. They, in terms of, they admitted that the refs call was incorrect. The bunkers call was incorrect. But I've got the quote on screen here. So Graham Annesley blabbed on, but this is when he's talking about the captain's challenge, which really, really pissed me off. So he said, "The rules around a captain's challenge allow for a challenge of any decision made by a referee to stop a game. There are no boundaries around that other than it has to be a stoppage initiated by the referee, and it has to result in a structured restart, which in this case was the penalty given as a result of this incident. Under the laws, it says a captain can challenge a decision by the referee from the point of the stoppage back to the previous play, the ball. So anything in that play from the kickoff can be challenged. They have to identify what they are challenging." As so much bullshit amongst this excuse for what was just so wrong to go to the bunker. Just that quote alone there, trying to bluff their way through this this captain's challenge. What are your thoughts on it? And pick the shit out of this. Pick it apart for me, man.
To me, the biggest problem is the last part, because the last part is what blatantly contradicts the laws of the game and what it states in the laws of the game about a captain's challenge, and it's been posted everywhere recently. So yeah, it's it can only be done at something that promote, or like something that causes a structured restart, be it a penalty, a scrum, or whatever. But the main problem with it is the referee has to make a decision first. That's essentially what the laws of the game say. The referee has to make a decision, and then that decision is what gets challenged by the captain. I still, for the life of me, can't work out where on Sunday the on-field referee made the escort call that Chad Townsend was challenging. If it was going by the laws of the game, then he would have called the escort if he thought there was one, and then it would have been up to the Tigers to challenge. So the Cowboys had no reason to challenge anything. No call was made. Just a whole load of fucking bullshit.
Rachel again on Facebook. Can we define the short, soft whistle? Never have I heard of it. Rob, you've been watching footy for what, 40 plus years. Have you ever heard of a soft whistle before?
Very polite of you, Josh, to take 25% off my watching time of rugby league over the years.
I didn't know. I was trying to think how long TVs have been around.
Thank you. Yeah, look, I'd never heard of it. It was funny when I was watching, the guys talking about it on 360. I remember Braithen Asser saying he'd never heard of it, and like he's been on the field. The point Aaron made is so critical. Where Annesley says in that quote there about he blew a penalty, there was no penalty blown. As Aaron said, the West Tigers would have challenged had it been a penalty, not the other way around. It seems to me, well, there's a number of things we can talk about with Annesley's stuff, but it seems to me that we haven't heard anything from the club, not because they've gone soft on it. I have a feeling that we still haven't received the audio tape in terms of the conversation between the bunker and the on-field ref. So, and perhaps the NRL are, trying to dodgy up some audio and put it together. I don't know, but I don't think it's over yet, guys. And look, Lee spoke really well on three different radio stations and TV stations the other night. And the one in particular that I liked the most was the Jim Wilson interview. And as he said, if we can prove that it's basically happened at the end of the game, it's literally the very last thing that's happened, or even potentially after the 80th minute, I think we have grounds for it to stand. If somehow they can say that there was a second or two left on the clock, then we might not have grounds for it to stand. But some of the things, are you going to be going through any other quotes from Graham Annesley? Because I want to rip it apart. Well, the very beginning, he tried, like, there's about 4 or 5 things that we all know was stuffed up there. At the very beginning, he mentioned the timekeeping on the way he goal kicked, and he said, that's done independently. Okay, that was the first thing he said. That's done independently. Independently by who? Tag Heuer? Rolex? Swatch? It's an NRL official capacity. You can't wash your hands of the timekeeping. So now that's not going to help us, but at the end of the day, if time had expired, then we win the game. If we had 80 seconds from the 83 seconds left and then Wahi's run in to kick the goal, time's expired. I mean, as we see it on the screen, time had expired and 1 second gets put on the clock. So he's fobbed his way there. As Aaron just mentioned, he fobbed his way with mentioning there was a penalty. There was no penalty unless the bunker has told him it's a penalty instantly, but he started claiming that he couldn't hear anything. The funniest part is we all know now that kickoff was illegal. It's been reviewed and it hasn't been given as a penalty to the West Tigers from the kickoff. So I understand why our challenge subsequent to the North Queensland Cowboys getting the penalty couldn't happen, because you can't review the same play twice. But this short penalty rubbish, and so does that mean now whenever the 80th minute comes, as soon as that little first short whistle has, if you've got a challenge, you can just stop play?
Throw it.
What load of rubbish. Absolute load of rubbish. I think what Annesley was trying to do there, or the NRL are trying to do in general, is basically say that if we got the bunker decision wrong, there are no grounds for protest, which would be correct. We can all say that, that was not an escort, but if they say it's an escort, it's just another bad decision in a myriad of bad decisions by bunkers. But if they say or admit to the fact that that challenge wasn't legal or wasn't eligible, then the West Tigers can reclaim those 2 points.
They've got a case.
Then they've got a case. So that was their whole purpose of the argument. But like we said, it's just wrong on so many counts. And I think Klein's had a lot more to do with it, Josh, than we realise. I actually think he's probably said something during that last play, and I really want to hear the audio tape of that, and I'm pretty sure the club does too.
Yeah.
And and like Rob said in the YouTube comments there too, I was going to mention this. The ARLC want to hear the audio as well, so it's good to see that they're on the case, and this is being pursued by multiple different channels and organisations. It's hopefully something comes of it. At the very least, serious change.
Well, whenever we talk about something, guys, whether it's our club or NRL or whoever it is, we talk about accountability. Like, the game has to be accountable. You literally can't take the piss out of fans and do this to them. And look, people are whinging about their bets and stuff like that. The NRL isn't about betting. If you've lost your money on it, tough shit. That's just how it goes. It's not about that. It's just about what's fair for the fans, our fans that went up there, our supporters, our members, whatever you want to call them. They're all there watching. Like we said last Sunday night about Jimmy Tamo's 300th, I could put a dampener on it, although Jimmy's been very gracious about it and said, don't worry, boys, you gave it your all. But every time I see the men that were on the bench standing on their feet, our players standing on their feet ready to celebrate, and then that look of despair, it just kills me, guys. It just absolutely kills me. And to me, if we could get these 2 points reversed, I know it's going to sound like a ridiculous comparison, this would be like making the finals. This would be like one of the biggest victories of our club's career. Like, we really need to make a stand. We need to keep the fire burning and just not say, oh, you know what, it's been 4 days now, we said all the right things and just let it die down. Look, basically, Josh, if Lee, no one's going to know better than Lee. If there's legal grounds to do something, if we don't get the right result, Lee will know what to do. And if we can't go any further, well, I'm sure, he'll just say, look, sorry, but, we tried our best. And that's all we can ask, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we can get this turned around, it could be a really big springboard and catalyst for the 2023 season for the club. Like, such a monumentous win under the circumstances this late in the season could be a good motivator for them for next year to really rip in and with the new faces in the club and give it their best crack.
Yeah. And as I said on Monday, the Stafford Tower try, like, how many of us were fist pumping at the TV? Like, speaking to Courtney, who's obviously the mum of superfan Lockie, who flew up for the game, she said he ran down to the fence and cheering, and all of us at home. I don't know about you boys, but I was going nuts in front of my TV, and I'm sure everyone listening to this, all of us, just that moment and that try, it could be one of the great in a shitty season, a moment that we'll remember for a long time. Like, just a runaway try on the buzzer to win, it's just one of those great sporting moments, and it's just wrongly taken away from us. Beyond like you said, Rob, the 2 points and the ladder and getting off the wooden spoon, and as said, momentum going to next season, just that great moment was just ripped like bloody Indiana Jones style, ripped our hearts out of our chest. Just it's I don't know if I'll ever get over it. Imagine if it was a semi-final, it's alone. But man, it's you mentioned 2010 earlier, Rob, how for the first time in history somehow a team was allowed to push through a scrum and dive on it. But God, fuck me, this club's gone through some absolute weird moments. Right, going from
though, I felt really bad for little Lockie. He started doing some match day vlogs at some of the games he's been to, and you could see the pain and the anguish in the little guy's face
Yeah.
as he did his outro out the front of the stadium. My heart broke for him. Like, he would have been
I
on
thought watching
absolute
it.
cloud nine, and then he's wrapping it up because he wanted to, and you could just see the devastation in his face, and it was gut wrenching.
Yeah. It's on YouTube. If anyone wants to find Little Lockie's vlog, he's been at every game this year so far, I believe. Uh, Getting rid of a sad story and on to our king. Benji Marshall had his interview with the journalist named
JQ.
thanks, guys, on Fox Sports on Monday night. Yeah, it was pretty good little chat with Benji, and I was ready. I actually watched at the gym. I was on kind of got me excited while I was having a workout to watch KO on my phone and have Benji talking up the future of the club. But just a small little quote here I pulled from talking about how he's quit basically Fox Sports straight away and wants to get stuck. Basically, start work now on next year. So he doesn't want to go to November 1 and start work now. He's like, the work's got to start right here, right now. So November 1, he's ready to go. It's this quote, for me, it's either all in or not at all. So I just felt that I'm going to be the one preaching about sacrifices and standards and turning the club around. Then I need to be all in on that. Rob, what were your reactions and favorite parts of the Benji chat?
Look, a lot of the stuff he said was I'd heard him say, in the last couple of weeks. So some of it was quite common ground, but there was some new stuff there as well. The crux of it that I got was he's not really full on about the X's and O's. He wants to build a culture. He wants to look after the players. He wants to make the Tigers to be a place to be at and a place where, the players within the squad will enjoy their footy. His passion for wanting to do the job. And, let's face it, guys, he's probably taking a significant pay cut, for his Fox commitments, for the rest of the year, just to make sure this is going to be right. So just pretty much his passion. And funny enough, I actually think just the way he's talking about culture and discipline and all this sort of stuff, I just feel like he really wants to be more like Wayne Bennett than Tim Sheens. I think he's just all about the person. And then he just wants them to be able to just, by the time game time comes around, that they want to play for their coach, which will be Benji Marshall. So, look, I think it's really positive. I said it before. I know enthusiasm and the positivity is no, guarantee of success. But this guy is as West Tigers as anyone else. He loves the joint. And I think that love's going to overflow. And I really, really think he's going to succeed. I think there are good times ahead, guys. I know he hasn't coached. I know it's a risk, but we need more West Tigers men within that organisation. And even if it wasn't the first choice, the fact they've got Benji, to become head coach, in 2.5 years from now, and Robbie alongside him as well. And I just think it's a good thing, guys. I really do.
Yeah, I said it basically when the news dropped. The fact that we're going to have two guys like that literally blood, sweat, and tears for the club, love the club, in Benji and Robbie, that at the very least, we know that every single move they make will be what's best for the club, because it's a genuine love. It's not just another coach taking a job, with all respect to previous coaches, except for Ivan Cleary. Fuck that guy. But I'm the same. I'm so excited. What about you, Az?
Yeah, I really enjoyed listening to this interview. For me, the best part, or the two best parts, were hearing how committed he is to getting ready to set up this preseason with Sheensy, and then all the really good things he had to say about Robbie and how he's looking forward to working with Robbie. And I think even though Robbie won't be on the coaching staff by the time that Benji's handed the reins in 2025, but the fact that he's still going to be around the club is a big win. The Tiger men are back where they belong. They know exactly what it's like to be a Tiger. They were there for 05, 10 and 11 and all the bad in between. They know the Tigers style. They'll get us back to that style. Yeah, it's like Rob said, it's a huge risk, but I think if there's a time for the club to take it, it's now. And just hearing how Benji is all in and how he does want to turn this joint around. I do think there are good things on the horizon and a lot to look forward to. Bring it on.
Tim Cook on YouTube, did Benji say he wants to keep Brooksy? Like, I don't think he's going to publicly say, "Nah, I don't want Brooksy." When the season's still going, especially. I mean, Brooksy's season. We'll get into that soon. Brooksy's season might be finished, but I don't know why he'd come out and say either way. What
he was
quite
he was quite defensive about him though, Josh. He did defend Luke Brooks quite a bit. He said a lot of the criticism that he gets is unwarranted.
Okay, yeah.
But as I said today on the socials, I think Brooksy gets the criticism a lot. Well, obviously, like, it hasn't been a successful 8 years or so that he's been with the club, but he gets a lot of criticism because when some of us think, you know what, this week his performance wasn't right, let's give someone else a go, we tend to keep him in first grade. There's weeks that Brooksy's played really well. In fact, other than the pass to Tuolangi the other day and maybe a missed tackle or whatever, he played a pretty good game against the Cowboys. So, it's just that he seems to be the first person we point to, and probably because, well, him and Noffa have been there the longest, really. So, I get the criticism of Brooks. I'm not defending him, but I'm just saying, what do you want Benji to say, really? But it's just a bit, little bit confusing into where we are next year in terms of Brooksy.
News that dropped today, but not confirmed by the club, I don't believe, as we're going to air tonight. The club hasn't confirmed it, but David Nofaluma will be a Melbourne Stormer? How do you say it with the Melbourne Storm? He'd be a Storm player for the rest of the year. So basically how it works, Noffa goes down there and Melbourne will pay the rest of his wage for the rest of the year, which is quite a decent whack of money. So you basically got August, September, October, November, so about a third of a year's wage. So it's well over $100,000. They're probably saving. And when I say saving, I'm assuming what the club are going to do with this, and I suggested this on Twitter, is front end load some contracts or upgrade some kids. So basically use that $100,000 to pay it now and not pay it in future years. So rather than the back end of the contracts, which we're been bit on the arse so many times by, maybe we can start front ending, like I suggested, saying to Adam Dwayhe, here's $100,000, but like if you sign a new contract sort of thing, but you don't have to pay that $100,000 on the cap further down the line. Just that has to be the reason. Rob, what other reason will we say, hey, Storm, have Noffa?
There could be a couple of reasons, Josh. One, obviously, we all love Noffa, but Noffa's been on the outer in terms of his standards that the club sets in terms of professionalism off the field and rehab. So, for example, he had the concussion against St George many weeks back prior to Madge's sacking, probably a few weeks before, and allegedly in that rehab, when you're not meant to be drinking alcohol, etc., he went out with a few mates, and like I said, not doing anything too bad, but the fact that he was drinking alcohol legally and all that sort of stuff, it's still a no-no. It's not doing the best you can. I believe he might have missed a captain's run or two as well. Look, he's undoubtedly a starting winger at our club, but this is going to show him one of two things. One, either get yourself in shape and come back a new man, or perhaps the club just don't want him there. I hope it's for the former. I really hope that, he's our leading try scorer in history. So I'd love him to be a part of that club. But, maybe if he sees how Melbourne are run and they're such a professional organisation, he might come back with a bit better attitude and know what it takes to be a winner, and perhaps even play some finals footy and say, hey, I really want this next year at the Tigers. So, look, there's a couple of ways it could go, but, I got nothing against Noffer. I love him to bits, but I can understand why the club did it. So I think it's a good decision by the club. It's good for the Storm. What I don't think is good, it's just a bad look for the NRL overall, though, because it doesn't matter how you're going in the season. Like Penrith last year got Tavita Pengai Jr., and really, he was probably the difference in them winning at least their preliminary final against Melbourne. And that can be the difference. So in terms of how it looks, I just think to be getting players this late in the season, Josh, it's a little bit iffy. I prefer a transfer window around June if you're going to do something like that.
Yeah.
But look, it might not be 100%. I guess the Storm have to, if the Storm books are full and they don't have $100,000 left over in their cap, they've got to release someone or find a way to, make room for David Nofaluma to be a player there. So that's probably why it's not official yet. They're obviously trying to dot their I's and cross their T's about it.
And the lowercase J's. Wayne's World 2 reference, again, for those who don't know. And I don't see, there's no reason for them to send a player back. We don't want to pay.
We don't want to play
else.
Yeah, we don't want to play. Like, it's a win for us.
Yeah.
It's a good thing for us. It's a good thing for Melbourne. I just think as a comp, it'd be terrible. Like, who's a team? I don't know. I'm trying to think of a team that's doing well that doesn't need a player. Like, let it be Brisbane, for example. Imagine Brisbane play Melbourne in a semi-final and Noffa scores a winning try when they don't have a good depth of wingers. Like, it's just it's a bit of a weird look for the game. I know it's wrong. I just can't sort of nail it 100%, but it just doesn't sit right with me.
As your thoughts on this move?
Yeah, I can't see a problem with it. I'm disappointed to see him go, but obviously he'll be coming back. The experience down there might be good for him because Bellamy might make him get his shit together, essentially, because he's definitely not going to be playing for Melbourne if he continues on with the poor form off the field that he has been up here. He's a top quality winger, as we all know, because of his Dally M season a couple seasons ago, plus the fact that, like Rob said, he's our club's all-time leading try scorer. I'm disappointed to see him gone for the year, but I hope he kills it down there. They need a player that they're going to be playing finals. We're not going to be playing finals. So maybe the cap money might work out well for us. I can't really see anything wrong with it.
Of course, a couple of people mentioned in the chat earlier, came out today that Luke Brooks is right out of this weekend with a calf injury, and NRL physio said who usually gets these things pretty bang on, reckons it could be close to the end of the season. So, Paul Brooksy is out with a calf injury. Rob, I saw your tweet earlier, in support of Brooksy. What are your thoughts on the poor kid? He probably deserves a holiday. Actually, he's due to become a dad in not too far away. So he can concentrate a bit on that while he does his rehab as well, I guess. But what are your thoughts, Rob?
Oh, it was more in support of him getting shat on social media. Really, it's not about if you don't think he's doing a good job, I can accept that. Like, he hasn't sort of been worth the money he's been on, as far as I'm concerned. But like, for people to be happy that he's injured, like, if that's the way we had to get a change in the halves, that's pretty poor. Like, if you want to get upset with anyone, get upset with the guys that are picking the team every week. Don't get upset with Brooks. Guy wants to play first grade, and he keeps getting picked. It's not his fault. You blame the coaching staff or whoever keeps picking him. But just be, if he has played his last game of the season and potentially his last game for the club, it just, what a way to end it against the Cowboys. Like, that'd almost sum it up, wouldn't it? Like, just heartbreak, really.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. As thoughts?
Yeah, it's disappointing for him, but might do him some good. He had a really good game, probably his best game of the season last week, and it was a very unfortunate way to end his season, if that is the season over. What do we got left? 6 games, I think. 20 to 25. Yeah, that's 6.
20. Yeah, 5, isn't it? 21, 2, 3, 4. Was it
Six. You
round
got to include
25?
the round. Got to include the round
Round-
6.
Yeah, includes this weekend. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, summer can't come quick enough.
But
All
I think
right.
the other thing, Josh, we got to decide, like, as a club, like who we're going to go with now for the rest of the year. Is Jackson Hastings definitely going to be our lock, or are we going to give Jock Madden a go? So I think it's going to be interesting now to see who we go with in the number 7 this week, or not the number 7, but playing halfback, obviously, because Brooks has been number 7, but who goes as halfback this week? So it'll be interesting. If they give Jock Madden a go, I'm fine with that, but everyone's been wanting to see Jacko and AD together. So
Yeah.
I wonder if we're ever going to get that.
Included.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Righto. So we're going to give the Cowboys game its justice. We didn't touch. It was a great game by our boys. So we'll give a bit of a normal review of that game. So back stats, the leaders, most runs. Brent Naden with 15. The runs across the backs were pretty even. Like I think a couple had 14, 13. So the backs kind of did a similar sort of job. Dane Laurie was running the ball back with that little bit extra vigor. I felt 184 meters from Dane Laurie, as probably safe to say Dane Laurie's best game of the year.
Yeah, it definitely was his best game of the year. Maybe you could say it's a close call between that one and our loss to the Rabbits, because he had a barnstormer in that game too. But yeah, he ran the ball back a lot more than he normally does, because most of the time I've noticed this year he passes it off to one of the wingers instead of taking a hit up from the kick return. But yeah, he definitely was playing with purpose and with intensity. Maybe it was for Jimmy, but I hope he can back it up and have another great game this weekend to say that it wasn't just a one-game wonder.
So I heard a rumor this week that there's a possibility that Dane Laurie, because we're obviously going after what's the Penrith kid's name? Got a brain
Charlie
name.
Staines.
Charlie Staines, to play fullback, and there's a possibility that they might look at Dane Laurie playing 5'8" or 5'8" in the near future. I've heard from someone close to him that if the Tigers don't give him the fullback jersey, he'll walk. He doesn't want to play outside of the one. So, what the club are going to do there, I'm not too sure. So by the sounds of it, you'd think Luke Brooks would be gone. They'll keep going with Jackson. They want to keep going with Jackson Hastings at lock and have Adam and Dane in the halves. Rob, does that sound crazy to you?
Yeah, it does actually. To be brutally honest, it sounds very like Adam Dwyer. He's going to be the tallest halfback in the league. No, and Dane, I don't think Dane will cope with the defensive work of 5'8" as well. So that I'd be squashing that rumor myself. I don't think it's true. I agree with Aaron. I think it was his best game of the year. This game is like, normally when we do the podcast, I'll rewatch a game almost straight away or the next day at the worst. This is going in the scrapbook with the '89 grand final and the 2005 semi, the 2010 semi against the Roosters and the 2010 semi against the Saints, never to be watched again. So I haven't watched it over. Don't want to watch it over. I know we played a really good game. I know the boys tried their hardest. It just hurts. I'm not going to be, turning the replay off at 78 minutes and 38 seconds or whatever it was.
Luke Brooks's face is on this graphic quite a lot. So 2 try assists, which was tied with Dane for most in the team. He touched the ball the most, 51. I think Adam was in the 40s, a little bit behind. 11 kicks, 351 meters, 18 tackles, which was also the most for for the backs, and line break assists. He had 3. So it could be Luke Brooks's last game as a Tiger, but pretty apart from as Rob said earlier, the intercept that he gave away for shitty pass to Kelmer aside, one of Brooksy's best games of the season, in my opinion.
Yeah, it really was. I forget which commentator it was, but they were saying he was having a real rocks and diamonds game. But to be completely honest, it was a lot more of a diamonds game than it was a rocks because he had so many more good touches. His fifth tackle options could still do with a bit of work, but he tried a few grubbers. I think a couple of them came off, and because I've said it before and I'll say it again, he has a bloody good grubber in him when he can get it right. We just don't see it often enough, probably because he doesn't have a lot of confidence to pull it off in the thick of the action. But yeah, it was definitely his best game of the season. Winning field goal against the Rabbits aside.
Rob, your thoughts on Brooksy in this game?
Yeah, I think the rocks and diamonds sums it up pretty well, but definitely more diamonds than rocks. Yeah, look, it's just like I say, we look back on some key moments and you see that intercept, or it was basically like a no-look pass to Kelmer's right shoulder. And, we don't think of the good things like that cutout pass he did out to the left in the first half. That was absolutely sublime. So, he had some really classy moments and, like a left-footed grubber kick as well, like Aaron was saying, into the in-goal area. I remember seeing that thinking, where's that grubber kick been? All we normally see is a cross-field bomb or something like that. Like, as a team, you need to force repeat sets. You need to get the other team defending more and our team doing less tackling. So I was really happy to see him force a repeat set. So, yeah, it was good. It's good to see, but it's just a shame he's done his calf now. But I guess we'll get to see what life can be like without Brooksy.
As any other backs in this game that stood out to you?
I wanna mention Kapoa. Obviously, the thing he'll be remembered for is the not penalty that he gave away. But I think he had a pretty solid game too.
He's finishing the corners. Sensational.
Yeah, that was great. That was really, really good to watch. And Naden as well. He made an effort to really be in the middle of everything. His 2 tries showed that he was ready to rip back in after his 4 weeks out. He was backing up the wingers and the fullback a lot as well. So he both of them made a really good effort on Sunday, and I was quite impressed with both of them.
Yep, totally agree. Right on. I've mixed the team list, so preview and reviews kind of going hand in hand this week. So the backline was named exactly the same for the game against the Cowboys this week, but obviously, as we record this on Thursday night, Luke Brooks is still in the number 7. They haven't announced who will be moving into the halfback position. So, Rob, do you think it'll be Hastings going to 7, or do you think Jock will come from 18th man to 7? How do you think they'll go?
Look, based on what Tim Sheens has said, based on what I know Benji Marshall said, Jock Madden should come in and take that halfback spot. The only thing I'm concerned about with Jock is he hasn't had a run in first grade since we beat Canterbury at Leichhardt. So we're going back to, a couple of weeks before Madge got sacked. Or a week before Madge got sacked. So, that's my only concern. But I think Jock can do a job. And look, that night against Canterbury when Jackson Hastings was sent to the sin bin shortly after halftime, I think that proved that Jock can actually control a game from 7 because he didn't even have anyone with him. Like, he had no halves partner. So actually he controlled the game on his own. He had a great kicking game, good passing game. He was really impressive that night. And it was just a shame that he never got the spot, in the side the following week. So I'm definitely keen to see him have a run at 7. But no doubt I'd be happy to see, Jacko and AD get a chance at some stage as well. Hopefully not through injury.
Rose of Oz, that was the last game we won. That was a very depressing start.
We won 4 days ago.
Yeah, we won on Sunday. Let's
it's not over yet.
Rob, Gussie asked, did you get a haircut looking sharp?
No, I didn't. Thank you, Gussie. We've got a great bromance going on, Gussie and I. But no, thank you, mate. I didn't. I'm sitting as far away from the camera as I can, so my head doesn't look like a watermelon. But it's all good.
Righto. Back to the Cowboys game. So the forwards now, Most runs was Jacko with 16, but the most meters was Joe Offengowie 151, and he had the most post contact with 50. No forward had a try assist. Kelmer and New Brown had a line break each. New Brown and Lukey Garner had 3 tackle breaks each. Play the ball speed. The fastest was Jimmy Tarmow with 2.37 seconds. Most offloads, 4 offloads per player for 2 guys. He's well up on previous weeks. We've had games with 0 offloads, and Joffa and Zay Musgrove both had 4. Most tackles was Jackson Hastings with 36. Most missed tackles was New Brown with 4. Where do you want to start? Which forward stood out the most to you on Sunday's game?
I'm going to say New Brown. His work from dummy half while he was on was pretty solid, pretty crisp. Yeah, I was really impressed with how New went, and I'm hoping the club locks him up because he'll be, even though we've got Appy coming, he'll be really good depth there. He may have a role as the 14. I really think that his best position will be 14 coming on middle of the game or late in the game. Appy's, how old is Appy now? He'd be in his 30s, wouldn't he? Early 30s?
I think he's
about 30.
30 next year, I think.
Yeah, right. So he probably could still do full games, but maybe having that extra hooker on the bench going forward would be a really good play because we've seen multiple times what he can do coming on late in the game or middle of a game against some tight forwards. The Bulldogs game at Leichhardt probably still his best game in our colours, but he's got a lot of potential there. That try he scored from dummy half. I
He's
loved
good at
it.
those.
It was very Robbie Farah-esque, wasn't it?
I said that to someone else this week. He's starting to remind me a little bit of Robbie Farah as well. I have no proof of this, but I literally said, "Have a go, New," because he's scored 4 tries the last 7 games or something. I literally screaming at the TV. He must have heard me all the way from Sydney. I said, "Have a go, New. Have a go," and he did it. And I was like, Nostradamus. Like, he's good at it. He does remind me a bit of Robbie with those little sneaky tries there. Randomizer on YouTube has asked any thoughts of extending his contract. Surely, like I'd say maybe they're trying to get rid of Little. Little's contract hasn't officially been tossed yet. Maybe, I don't know, but yeah, he said he wants to. He's told the club he wants to stay. So, yeah,
that's the sort of player you want to keep. Someone who is like, I want to stay. Please keep me. Like that's a player you need around the club, and he's one of those players I think will benefit a lot from being coached by Rob and Bench. So,
yeah,
I think re-signing New is definitely a big step in the right direction. Obviously, we would have to get rid of one of the 2 in Little or Simpkin, but the forgotten man in all that hooker situation is Rua, and I'm not really sure how the puzzle pieces fit together with that, but
he's still pretty young.
Yeah, he is. I think
he's still very young.
He'd be what, maybe 19?
Yeah, he's a kid.
Yeah.
So yeah, worry about Rua. Like, especially coming off an injury, you'd think he might make his debut halfway through next year. Like you'd think at best with his injury. So
play at 2023 in reserve grade and then see what happens in 24. But I definitely think re-sign New.
Yeah,
do it.
Rob, thoughts on Jacko's second game in the 13, wasn't it?
Second game in the 13, but more as a lock this time. Look, I thought he went well. Look, guys, I don't think there was a bad forward. I really don't think we had a bad forward. I don't think, like, they all had good games. Like, when you're talking Musgrove with 4 offloads, that's pretty good going for someone that, mostly has been a maligned forward, when we talk, do reviews and stuff like that. So, I just think it was a game we should have won. We should have beaten a team that was coming second on the table. So look, I think it was just a great all-round effort. On New Brown, the only thing I'd say there, Aaron, I don't think we can afford to keep. Well, not afford. I think we've got too many hookers if we keep New and Simpkin. I'm sure Little's going to St George. It seems to be the talk the last week that Little will be off there to Saints. But I don't think we can afford to keep both if we've got Rua there. So, but that's not definite. But it just makes no sense to have 4 blokes that can play hooker. I think 3's plenty.
Stewie on YouTube, we've mentioned this before. Rua can play 13 as well, like a Brandon Smith type.
He can, but if is Jackson Hastings going to be 13 or is he going to be number 7? We don't know. There's so much they've got to work out prior to next season.
Yeah.
So
was Rua in our top 20 this year?
I don't think so. I think it was development this year, full contract next year, wasn't he, Rua?
I don't know.
Either way, he's so young that I think, I think maybe he's a year away. But as Tim Sheen said, if you're good enough, you're old enough. I think that's
actually, you know what? I think he was development because had things stayed fit, he would have been allowed to play from round 10 this year.
Yeah.
Now that I think of it,
let me see if I can look it up while we're going.
Yeah. Who else can we talk about in the forwards, Rob? Anyone else stand out for you?
Oh, look, those numbers on Joffa that's Joffa. Like
that's
the
him,
151 meters and the 4 offloads and the tackles, and the guy's a machine. So yeah, if you want to stand out someone, I would. But this was just really a wholehearted team effort. It was a great day for the club for 80 minutes. Just after the 80 minutes, it was a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
heartbreaker.
While you're checking that, Rachel asked, all praise to Joffa, what is the contract news? He took up his option for next year, didn't he?
That's the reports, yes.
Yeah. So pretty sure he's locked in for next year.
Is.
Yeah. Court Daniel, apparently Hastings on the nose with senior players. We heard this rumor too, Rob, but this was quashed during the weekend. In fact, there was an article come out that he's kind of offended that people are saying this. Is this? Yeah. What are your thoughts on the Hastings not getting along with other players rumor?
Look, I've heard the rumor. I don't believe the rumor, but I've heard the rumor. But I've also, speaking to Jackson Hastings' camp, like he's best mates with Adam Dwayne. They go everywhere together. So
yeah, got a haircut together.
Yeah, hardly the talk of someone that's unpopular. So I mean, look, I'm just throwing something up here. I don't know any of this. I'm just speculating or purely speculating. If anyone's got resentment against him, maybe it's the fact that he's just so popular amongst all our fans, and there's a bit of jealousy there. Because I can't think of any other reason why you couldn't like the bloke. The bloke signs autographs, takes photos, does this, does that, talks to does interviews with everyone. Hopefully we'll get him on here one day soon when we're loved again by the club. But yeah. So anyway.
I found it. Rua will join the NRL squad in 2023 after working his way through the club's pathway system.
Forwards named for Saturday's game. So Jimmy Tarmount, Joe Offengowie, front row, New Brown, hooker, Alex Seafarth, Kelmut Tuolagi in the back row. No Luke Garner. Jackson Hastings got 13. The bench, Fanua Pole, Shane Musgrove, Austin Diaz, and Tyrone Pidgey. Obviously, one player out of Jock Madden, Junior Tupou, Brennan Tumeth, James Roberts or Tom Freebarn will come in, but obviously it's more than likely going to be Jock Madden in the number 18. You would think. I just realised Tamari Martin is there, 18th man, former Tiger. They've got a couple of ex-Tigers, don't they, the Broncos? They have Billy Walters, Tamari Martin. There's one other, I think.
Tyson Gamble.
Tyson Gamble, yeah. So there's a few ex-Tigers in there. So thoughts on the forward pack this week, Az?
I don't mind it. I think I saw that Garner's out because of an injury, so it's not a dropping like I thought originally. He copped a neck injury or something against the Cows, I think it was. So that's a bit of a
We-
shame.
He was limping at one stage. Didn't he injuries? He injured his leg.
His
One
shoulder, I
stage?
think it was. He did something to his shoulder early in the game, but he seemed to fight through that, which was really good.
Might be
I'm
thinking of the
excited
previous game.
I'm excited to see Diaz get a second game as
Me
well.
too.
And I hope Jimmy Tarmo rips in 301, and then we can celebrate 300 a couple games late at home next week.
The 302, the Ford 5 litre for.
Well, we
Any
celebrated
fans.
Robbie 301 at home after he played 300 in Newey. So similar to that.
Rob, what are your thoughts on the forward pack this week?
Look, it's probably about as good as we could name. This is where the game's going to be won and lost, guys. The Broncos have really got a strong forward pack, and their back line, as we'll see shortly, they've got some great players, but they've got a lot of inexperience there as well. So a really big ask for our guys to, get over the heartbreak of last week, but definitely we have to match them in the forwards. And the Broncos have just gone from, being made of straw to being made of steel within 10 weeks. So they're incredible right now. The confidence they're playing with, they don't care what the score is. They're going to be hammering it out for 80 minutes. So, look, it's going to be a tough ask, but, we definitely have enough class in the back line to beat them.
Well, we're paying $7 to win, Rob. So lines at 17.5. I said last week, I thought the line. What was the line last week? It was pretty similar.
20 and a half, yeah.
Yeah, and then should have been 1 point the other way. But yeah, the boys, as you said, Rob, the boys are putting up a fight. I'm actually surprised. I know the Broncos are a very good team this year, but yeah, the West Tigers didn't command any respect from the betting agencies this week. Are they maybe predicting the Tigers to be a bit down from the result last week?
Yeah, that's my main concern for the game this week, if I'm being completely honest with you, Josh. I do kind of feel like it may have hit them. Well, it did hit them pretty hard. Like we heard and we saw how shattered they were. And I really hope they can lift their heads up high and rip in this week. But I am worried that it has going to have taken a lot out of them mentally, because obviously to lose the game in the circumstances they lost the game in, they were so close to celebrating with complete ecstasy, and then next minute it's just agony and it's all turned on its head. I do hope they'll find a way through, but I have a feeling that is probably one of the main reasons why the bookies have gone the way they have. I'd love to be proven wrong. I really would.
Rob, do you think it helps? Obviously, they're still in Queensland, so I'm assuming they never came home. They just went straight from Townsville to Brisbane. Do you think maybe being in a little mini camp and being around each other through all this bullshit of last week might gel them together a little bit?
You'd hope so. No guarantee of it, Josh, but you'd hope so. I mean, look, we ask for consistency every week, which is, pretty impossible in NRL. Someone's got to win, someone's got to lose. But, we've gone from big effort against Para to poor effort against Penrith to, I think poor effort. I know the score was close, but it was a poor effort. Big effort against the Cowboys, should have won. So I just hope it's not going to be, alternating week to week. But, it's hard to get up for games that don't mean much in terms of the competition table. But, I just hope they're just pissed off enough to just say, you know what, we had that one taken off us. Let's not let it affect the last half a dozen games of the year, and have a crazy like. And then, by the way, there is another ex-Tiger, Deloise Hoyter, who's on the wing.
Oh, so, of course.
Yeah. So so they've got an inexperienced back line. We need to match them in the forwards, and we need to expose some of their outside backs. Obviously they've got the likes of Staggs there and Oates, who are experienced players, but if you look at, Tessie New hasn't played that many games, even the halfback who's the 5'8", whose name escapes me, and he's absolutely brilliant. He's only played 8 games, Ezra Mann. And yeah, I think they've got a brand new centre in the team as well. So look, if we're on our game, we can win. But the Broncos forwards are very formidable.
Okay, while we're talking predictions, we're going to jump back. It's boys, have you got a 3-2-1 for last week?
Yeah, where do you want to start?
Have you got one?
Yeah, close enough. I'm gonna give my 3 to Dano. Like we said before, best game of the season by far. I'm going to give the 2 to Naden. I really liked seeing what I saw from him in his return from suspension, and 1 to Brooksy, because it was his best game of the season too. He ripped in better fifth tackle options, a couple of try assists. It was a much better game from him compared to what we've seen for most of the rest of the year. If I could give an honorary 1 point, I'd give it to the inspirational captain, Jimmy Tarmo, for 300 games. It was an absolute, incredible performance from him too. So honorary 1, I'll call it a half point.
a half each. Roberto.
Okay, obviously I haven't seen the game a second time, so I'm going off how I saw it. Obviously, we're all in agreement, I'd assume, on Dano. Brilliant game. I'm never going to forget that run from fullback up that right-hand sideline, and just that last shove off, the way that he just pushed the defender away was quite inspirational. So definitely 3 to Dane. I'm going to give 2 to Joffa. He just did a mountain of work, and I don't think forwards, get the rewards in terms of, recognition. We always see the flashy plays and the try-scoring guys. So I'm going to give him 2. Now, 1 point, this will be a little bit controversial, but it's probably one of the highlights of my year, not just the game. That last try that we got with Stafford Toa, the ball that Adam Dwayne produced to Dane Laurie, it's not about the fact that he popped the ball inside. It was the fact that Adam Dwayne, he said, this game needs to be won. No one is going to fucking tie my hands up, and I'm going to offload this ball, and I'm going to get my team home. And that was just one of the most inspirational plays, and I think that's what hurt even more. I wish he could have nailed that goal from near the sideline and got it to 3 points. But trust me, if we'd had a 3-point lead, mate, Ashley Klein would have found a penalty try or something off the kickoff line. That's just how we were going to roll last Sunday. But that was just absolutely inspirational. It just gave me goosebumps when I saw that. And that's why he should be our captain down the track, or co-captain with Jacko. But yeah, I gave 1 to Adam.
3 for Dane. I think it's pretty obvious. I'm tempted to give Brooks the 2, but I guess that intercept, maybe even the 1. I'll be pretty much copying. I'll be pretty much copying because I think Joffa.
Nothing wrong with that. His selections were really good too.
Yeah. I really should think about it before we go on air.
Was excellent.
Yeah, I'll go.
2 tries.
Yeah, I'm sound like I'm copying but I was tempted to go the other way around. But yeah, Brooksy definitely deserves a point. I thought he had a decent game. What's the chat saying? Rachel's gone. Laurie offer Naden. Naden's a good shout. Yeah, he played well as well. Stewie, Dane, Kelmer, Luke. Alex has gone. Laurie, Brooks, Naden. Gussie, Kepper 3. Controversial. 2 for Laurie and 1 for Joffa. So that's our 3-2-1. The points, it's pretty. Tell you what, Hastings is on 47. I've got a spreadsheet, so it updates live. Hastings is on 47. Joffa's on 45. So
I was wondering if Joffa had done enough to overtake Jacko yet.
So
my call on being close a few weeks ago.
My call on Joffa there might get him the trophy that we haven't decided if we're going to make yet. We'll speak to Shane, see if he can, I don't know, get an old lead pipe or something, put it on a bit of wood, put the MG Pump Solutions 321 player of the year on it or something. But yep. And back to this game this weekend. So sunny weather, so plenty of points. So predictions for this week, boys. What are we thinking? So 20 degrees, nice and sunny up in Brisbane. We seem to play well in Queensland for some reason. Apart from if you don't count the bubble, you talk
The Magic
not
round this year where we didn't play all that great.
Magic round. I've blocked
Cowboys.
it.
First game against the Cowboys.
Yep. Yeah. As what are you feeling here?
Yeah, I want to be confident. I want the team to rip in, and get the dub 2 weeks in a row. But unfortunately, with the circumstances, I don't think we'll get the win. I hope they can keep it close again. I'm gonna go with I'm tipping the Broncos by probably about 8 points. I'd say maybe another 26-20 thereabouts scoreline, because I think with Jock in the team, we'll definitely have some points in us because, like Rob said before, his game against the Dogs at Leichhardt, he had some brilliant touches, and the try he set up, the little chip kick over the top of whoever that was a brilliant little piece of play from him. So I think we'll definitely have some points in us. I'd love to see us get the win, but I think the Broncos with Haas and their forwards will be just a little bit too strong for us in the end.
Rob, what are you thinking? Let us know in the chat too, guys. I see Gussie saying 44-4 to the Tigers.
He said that last week too, didn't he?
Stewie 25-18. Another 7-point lead to the opposition.
Yeah, 1 point off, Stewie. 1 point off, mate. 24-18 Tigers.
24-18. So you're predicting a win, Roberto?
I know the Broncos could easily win by 20 points or more, but I just think Adam Dwayne's not going to miss a goal this week. That's my big tip.
Wow.
That's just 100%. And you can lock Naden in for another try on Deloise Hoyter. So that's another tip. And if I was going to pick a Broncos try scorer, I'll go Jordan Ricky. Okay, but they're my three predictions. Tigers win, Naden to score a try, Jordan Ricky to score a try.
Jordan Ricky, okay.
I'll see what that multi is.
I was going to say, see what that same
That'll
game
pay
multi.
huge. It'll pay huge.
So so it was Tigers win, and who were the try scorers? Naden and
Ricky.
Naden and Ricky. Okay.
I feel like the boys will be fired up too. I feel like, yeah, as I said, they're in camp together. I think the Jackson Hastings not getting along. Him and Adam. Yeah, I feel
there's a bromance there between.
Yeah, I think it might actually be the opposite, judging by the socials anyway. But I don't know. I'm hoping they come together and really play for some pride. I really think the players that are picked this week really want to make a name for themselves, and it'd be interesting to see. Yeah, if Jock Madden comes in, he wants a new contract, so you imagine he's fired up. He didn't play last week, so he's well rested because the Maggies had the bye. So yeah, it'd be interesting. I think we can get up. I think. What did you say? 20-18, Rob?
I said 24-18.
24-18. So he's saying 4 tries, 4 goals.
Yeah, and Adam. 3 tries. 3 tries, 3 goals.
Yeah, I can see it being 4 tries all, and coming down to goal kicking. That that sounds about right for me. I think they're going to come out. I mean, that 18.5 margin is that's huge. Like, yeah, that's just showing no respect to us. It's crazy that we literally should have beat the team coming second last week, and I didn't look at the markets before Luke Brooks went out, but you wouldn't think maybe that swung it out a little bit. But that's a huge 3 tries in the modern game is I guess the modern game scores more. Doesn't make sense. But we'll be back Monday night to review this game. And thanks to everyone who has tuned in this week. Our our numbers were really, really good. Our YouTube, please go to our YouTube and like, subscribe, turn notifications on, and all that jazz. We had lots of great feedback about our show on Monday, and was good therapy, Rob, for all our fans. I know you got some messages as well about Monday's show.
It was great. We got some really good compliments. Actually, Sunday show, not
Sunday.
Monday.
Sorry, it was Sunday.
Yeah, but got some great reviews, and and thanks to all the listeners for tuning in. Considering we gave everyone 45 minutes notice on Sunday night, so it was, look, we're all pretty pissed off about the result. But like I said earlier, I think because the club's quiet, I think there's still things percolating there, so it's not over yet.
And thanks everyone who's joined us live on a Thursday night, despite the footy. Who won the footy? I didn't even have a TV on.
20-10 Roosters.
Okay,
it's only just hit full time now.
And it was he blew a short whistle with 22 seconds left, and so it's officially over. There's no protest.
And Rob, your multi, the 3 legs, $40.50.
You're welcome.
Hang on, Kathy just said the same thing. You weren't joking there. There was a soft. Kathy said something about a soft whistle too. You weren't joking. I thought you were joking.
No, there was an all-in brawl. There was an all-in brawl with 22 seconds left. So they got a little bit heated. No, there was a normal whistle at full time, but I'm just
okay.
We all know what a soft whistle is now.
Yeah,
I want to wait for the hard whistle. Can't wait for the hard whistle.
Yep, we all want a hard whistle. Righto, boys. On that note, we'll speak again on Monday. As always, everyone in the chat, you're all regulars, like recognizable faces in there as always. So you know how to finish the show. As always, boys, go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
Go the Tigers.
You're listening to another episode of the West Life podcast. As always, we are sponsored by West Ashfield Leagues Club and as well as MG Pump Solutions. If you could please subscribe if you'd love to hear us again. We're going to have episodes twice a week, every week this season, Mondays and Thursdays. So we're going to, as the season rolls in, be sure to catch us every week. And if you can, give us a like on the socials. So at Westlife Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Search for Westlife Podcast on Facebook. And if you'd like to take part in the show, patreon.com/Westlife. It's just a couple of bucks a month to help grow the show. We'll see you again next time on the West Life Podcast.